Hey guys, and welcome to the semi-finals of the Seviper Conference. The battles we have for you today are Team Awesome with Normal versus the Universe Unknown with Dragon, and the Primates with Fairy versus Victoria's Dark Secrets with Dark.
All right, I am Alex. I'm here with Tyler today.
G'day, good to be back.
So Battlebane is here. Has had to fill in for Nick because he's too busy for us apparently. We're here with the Seviper Conference semi-finals here. We've got normal Marvin taking on Dragon with Doriki, and this is a very interesting matchup. I believe Doriki won during the regular season only a few weeks ago, and he got a Dragonite behind screens and weakness policied his way to a victory. So, what do you see early on here, Tyler?
Yeah, interesting choice from Duriki to not bring Dragonite back. I guess he was
Mm,
expecting that Marvin would prep pretty heavy for it. I love an underdog, so I'm excited to see what Marvin pulls out here against Dragon, which is typically pretty tough to prep for.
yeah,
Um, Lopunny's always good. Zorok is great because you just have to always assume that you can't hit the normal Pokemon with fighting.
yeah, which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I like the Ditto bring. It stops him getting set up on, which maybe was his counter to the Dragonite.
Yeah, so no Dragonite is interesting. Um, I definitely think I'm just gonna start the recording. I definitely think Ditto is a good choice into Doriki because Doriki just likes to set up in general, and now he can't set up and win if Ditto's still alive. So that's really good.
Yeah, be especially important for the Como as well.
Yeah, but talking thematically, this is normal versus Dragon. You don't doesn't really feel like there'd be much more of an underdog story besides maybe like Bug versus Dragon.
Yeah, well, I lifted that crown high, very high earlier this season.
Yeah, that was quite a funny game. The shuffle sweep. It's another. There's so many things to worry about in Monotype. Like if you forget about one thing, it can just take you by surprise and go crazy.
Yeah, it makes prepping really interesting. It also makes certain Pokemon that would normally be really good just not that good. Anything with a four times weakness is hard to justify bringing.
Yep, absolutely. Um, Whereas some things that normally aren't as good, maybe their typing just makes them way more valuable, like Shuckle for Bug, just having that rock typing. Which
Yeah,
usually you can't say that about rock as a secondary type, but it actually does help it a little bit there, just not being weak to flying or fire.
yeah, 100%. And we can see that here even with Dragon, like the Goodra with the steel typing is so problematic to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably something you'd have to bring most weeks since everything Dragon's weak to steel resists. Same thing with me in fighting is hard to. I mean, it's great that I have Aegislash as my captain, so I can switch it in, but I can only do that once.
Yeah.
But yeah, here are the leads: Petrarant, the captain, which will have to Terra Dragon, and Chinchino.
Yeah, I imagine
Um,
he's hoping for a toxic from the malignant chain off the bat, leading Petra.
yeah, or a parting shot, just
Yeah,
to
true.
gauge what Marvin's doing. Chinchino is interesting. It's probably a better lead for Doriki slightly since Petrarant's physical defense is just so high. Even if he gets
Mm.
triple axle, like definitely not getting one shot.
Yeah, I
Um,
wonder if Marvin just risks getting toxic here and hits tidy up now to get the attack and speed boost early.
yeah, he does have a couple switch-ins though. Like Slowking is still a poison type. Ditto would be good because you don't get poisoned.
Mm.
So either one of
Yeah,
those
true.
is fine. But
Ditto's actually
parting
a good
shot,
count for Petra.
that's where parting shot's good here because if he makes a switch, then you just get to switch into whatever you want and they're -1 attack. So either way here, I think parting shot's probably the go. He goes Ditto. Dragon,
Oh,
Malignant.
nice. Means he can't get poisoned.
Yeah,
And now
that's a
he
good
gets his,
switch.
his own malignant chain back and potentially gets a toxic of his own.
Yeah, you'd have to be careful with that. If it's Choice Scarf Ditto, which most Dittos are, with Gudra still alive,
Mm.
you have to be careful locking into Malignant, because that's a pretty easy switch for Duriki if he sees it happen once. But now Marvin also gets info on what Petron's moveset is, so
Mm.
Ditto's very helpful here.
Yeah, and they could even just both parting shot out here, to be honest.
Yeah, which again would work for Duriki better since he'll be slower.
Yes.
but it's a very interesting turn. Petron lead is always interesting too because you burn your Terra straight away, and I know Terra is nowhere near as valuable, but it's almost having that original typing of Ghost, which is quite handy. Although Lopunny does have Scrappy, so that makes it a little bit less handy. And he goes Slurking on the Protect. Oh, okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Probably would have seen that he had Protect and thought that that was a pretty obvious move for Duriki. And decided to just roll the dice and switch.
Yeah, so does he hit damage here, or does he go Chilly Reception and go back out?
Yeah, well, like we've been saying, that slow pivot is always better, so Chilly Reception's a negative priority move.
Mm.
That will always not be a bad option here.
As long as he doesn't get the Toxic and Confused, it's a good move.
Yeah, definitely. But a lot of finals are going to come down to luck-related things. That's just how Pokemon is. Parting shot. Especially now with the players being everyone's like higher quality now we're in finals. But
Yeah, a
luck
lot of
is
the
just
time
going
it
to
will come
swing
down
things.
to like a lucky flinch or a lucky crit or an unlucky 90% move miss or something.
Something like that, yeah. So he's taking his time here. I really like the addition of timers this season because not having a timer for the other seasons, matches sometimes went for like an hour and a half. I'm not even kidding. That was pretty normal for finals.
I think my grand final with Andrew last year went for like 45 minutes or something.
Which is just too long. No version. Oh, the weakness policy on the
Oh,
ice
that's
beam.
nice.
That's
That was
really
very
good.
well read.
But this is where Ditto comes in handy, having it in the back. He's probably just going to have to sack something though.
See, the problem if you go into Ditto now and Doriki clicks a dragon attack move, it'll kill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit scary. It's more if you'd be running dragon moves into the normal team. I guess it's probably good for Zoroark, but I think it gets crunch and stuff anyway, which is more optimal.
True. I mean, he might just have a move on there for stab.
Yeah. Haxorus doesn't get a lot of great support moves. It could just be like substitute or something. He does like his subs.
True.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like no version of competitive Pokemon is ever played without a timer. So having as much time as you want to think of the optimal move feels kind of not in the spirit of the game.
Yeah, and even just
VGC,
like this season, we obviously decided to do commentary. Yeah. Oh wow, it did a lot of damage.
yeah, that. I mean, not killing is pretty good for Marvin though, getting chip. I think he's deciding to sack this Slowking.
Yeah, I mean that, or he takes the risk and go. No, he's just gonna sack.
Yeah. Yeah.
He kind of had to there. The only other. Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, here we go. And now it's in Brick Break range.
So the only other option there would have been to predict the brick break and go into Zorok.
Yeah, and even then that's very risky. Didn't really
I mean,
have any reason to not click Crunch or something if you had it, or a Dragon move.
yeah, it's an interesting choice. I mean, I sometimes I get in these weird moves where I like to play risky, so I might have just gone into Zorok and then Zorok probably faster.
Sometimes you can just feel if risky's the right option in a battle, you
Yeah, it's
know?
pretty early in the battle to be fair,
Yeah.
but the
And
regen on Slowking would have been nice.
yeah, you do like to play risky though. Brick Break. Okay, so he's locked himself into that, assuming it is Scarf. Which means Latias is probably a good switch. Petron won't take anything from it, even when it's +2.
Garchomp potentially could be if it's bulky with rough skin and rocky helmet.
Yeah, you're almost pretty sure Marvin's going to switch here, so it's more what can get a free turn while Marvin switches.
If it's whenever I use Garchomp, I often like to use it defensively. He could throw that in there and get spikes down or something.
Yeah, that seems pretty free here. It goes
I
Petron.
think
Okay,
it's
well, that's not going to take anything, and parting shots reasonably free as well. I think Brick Break will do like 50% if it has no investment at all.
Mm. It could just it
Oh, geez, that did much less. And Malignant, no poison though. That's big. Little rolls like that are going to make all the difference. Because even though he can switch out of the confusion, that Ditto being poisoned would have been massive. So a bit risky by Marvin to stay in and brick break there. Pretty
and
insignificant
the
chip.
Ditto being in there means he can't counter the Petron like he did last time.
Yeah. And he doesn't have Slaking anymore, so this is a tough switch. He's going to have to risk it here.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to sack the Ditto here because you really don't want the combo to set up.
Not with Komoro, or even he's proved that he can set up with Gujo too.
Yeah, true. And
No
even
real problem.
Garchomp gets a couple of Dragon Dances off and it could be game.
Yeah, that's Malignant into the Terror Shell, and he gets the poison.
Ooh.
1 for 1.
There it is.
Terror Shell being broken does suck. Marvin hates Terrapagos, so he probably thought, you know what, this thing sucks. I'm just going to send it in. And I've been
It's good
convincing
if
him
you
to
can
use
get
it
it
most
in.
weeks.
It's good if you can get it in clean and you like actually get to take advantage of the Terra Shell.
Yeah, it's got good utility. It gets like pretty much every type of move. Um,
I
so
mean,
it's just nice
you
most
put a
weeks.
calm mind on it, and it can hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and you kind of just don't expect it a lot of weeks, and it's just something that you can bring because it's never something that it's like the biggest threat. Oh, he goes the Calm Mind.
That's
Doesn't
interesting with
get
the toxic
confused.
on.
Yeah, but
Maybe
now I
he's
guess
just hoping it
Malignant's not
can
going to
do
do
some chip.
much.
Just hoping it can do some chip, maybe.
Yeah, if he breaks out of confusion here, he's actually in a pretty good spot. Protect
Oh,
Calm
nice.
Mind. He called it. Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
I think. Oh, we did forget that Petron already showed Protect, but I think he would have been trying to call the Protect on the last turn, and then this one he was like, okay, he's definitely going to Protect now, and he got it right.
Yeah.
The Malignant does more chip. The Toxic's wearing it down. Oh, it
Oof.
didn't kill. That is one bulky Petron.
Momentum definitely with Dariki at the moment.
Yeah,
Marvin's about to sack his second one.
reasonably even, but I think. I mean, Haxorus is weakness policy, so that would have been one of his endgame sweepers. But I
Mm.
think I'd rather have Como and my defensive Garchomp still alive now. But there's Lopunny on the
Oh,
Protect. Great switch.
another good read from Marvin.
Yeah, that's
Dariki
another
playing
50-50
very
one.
Dariki's playing very defensively.
Yeah, but that's
Which I
probably
mean, in
something.
front of a one that's about to die from toxic, it makes sense to do.
Yeah, but Doriki's good enough that he definitely would have realized that Marvin could read that. So it's, again, a very 50-50 switch to make.
Yeah, it's interesting because he had the speed advantage there, and the Terrapagos was very low. I wonder if he had something. What's he got? He's got Malignant Chain, Protect, Parting Shot, and one other move. I wonder if he's got something that could have done enough.
I don't think anything would have done more than Malignant on Petron's moveset. And it wouldn't have
Mm.
done enough to kill, so I think Protect's fine there. But it does let this thing in, which is very scary. Protect's return, didn't even bother clicking Fake Out, I don't think it would have killed. And that does more if he switches, so probably the right option.
This thing's just so freaking fast and return stab hits so hard.
Yeah. Forgot how broken Megas were until this
Yeah, I'm
season when we
enjoying
started using.
having them in this season. Obviously, we didn't have them in the last season, but they're just a different thing to sort of plan around. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Some of them just have incredible matchups into other types as well. They can just make all the difference. He goes triple axle, very risky. Ooh.
You
Okay, well
wouldn't
he
have
got the
wanted to
three.
miss that third one.
Yeah, I don't know if he was calking or not, but I feel like return probably killed based on that
Mm.
damage.
Yeah, this
Wow.
is a good
Well,
spot here because if he sends in pretty much anything, he's going to do big damage to it.
yeah, I mean, Gudra gets smacked by it. Garchomp is interesting.
The
Could it be
triple axle will
Scarf?
kill this, you'd think, but if he's put it in, maybe it's just to get chip damage. It's a Rocky Helmet rough skin scenario.
I feel like if you have like body press on Gudra or any fighting move on Como, it one-shots this thing anyway, so the chip is probably insignificant. He is slower, so it's not Scarf. Oh, it's Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, okay, so rough skin and helmet will get some decent damage on it.
And he hits all three. That's huge. You absolutely take that if you're Marvin. 3-5 now.
Mm. So all of a sudden the momentum's very much swung.
Yeah, and Doriki's down to 20 seconds as well. He's slowly running out of time. This is a very close combat, is it not?
Yeah, I get. I mean, I would have to assume the Gruder is Sash, because if it's not, this just kills surely.
Unless it's like, even if it's max Fizz Def, because this is a Megalopunny. Maybe it's time
I
pressure
mean,
getting
I
to him.
feel like the choice would have been to go into Como if it's carrying
Well,
vacuum wave.
kaboom. There goes the
Yeah,
Gudra.
damn.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
looking good for Marvin.
if it had vacuum wave, he probably would have gone to it earlier. But I
Yeah,
feel like
I feel like
Latias was just the switch in before Garchomp though, because it's probably the only thing that lives something. Oh, it's weakness policy too. Usually he's running it defensive. Agility,
that's nice.
but this setup doesn't mean a lot when Ditto's still on the back. Stored power kills.
Yeah, this is
Ooh.
game for Marvin, I think.
Does stored power kill this back? Like, does the stored power from Ditto kill Latias? I'm not sure. Yes, it does.
Yep,
There
that's
you go,
game.
and that's game, unless Como is Focus Sash, in which case, it's probably still game anyway.
He usually runs it with the Z move.
Bang, there you go.
Wow, normal beast dragon.
That was decided in basically the last 5 or 6 turns of the match.
Yeah, it was really going back and forth for a while there, and then Marvin just got the Lopunny in and went bang.
Yeah, that was just some very interesting switch-ins. Like the Garchomp switch was quite interesting as well. I don't really understand
I feel like
that. I
that's got to
mean,
have been a misplay because he was running out of time. You would think he had to have gone into Latias
yeah,
there.
it's just the only thing that lived to hit. That just proves how dangerous Megalopunny was in this matchup. Because besides Latias and maybe Petron, I don't think anything was living a hit on that team.
No, I think you're right.
And you'd
Especially
guess it
when it, like
probably
you
had
can
player off.
get it. Well, you can get it in there and break a sash with
That's
fake
it.
out to start with.
Yeah,
So it's like pretty much anything is going to die, even if it's sashed.
that's just a really tough team. Marvin could bring Terapagos, Megalopunny, and Hisuian Zoroark, and Ditto every week, and
Mm.
it would be very tough to play around
Yeah,
because
normal underrated.
they all just find a way to be useful. They all have good coverage or good enough coverage, and like Lopunny doesn't have amazing coverage, but he hits really hard and gets just enough that, especially into Dragon, because he gets triple axle and player off, it can be really dangerous. But anyways, that's that for that battle.
Yeah, well
And we'll
done,
see you in the
Marvin.
next one. Hello, welcome back to the SBL Finals. We are here with Dossa, Fairy against Dark, Huge Pyre, and I'm here with Tyler because Nick is still too busy for us.
Good to be back yet again.
This is a very interesting matchup. Pyre has only lost to Fairy this season and hasn't lost to anyone else. He's 9-1, but unfortunately has to play him in the first round of the finals. So, what stands out to you early here with these teams, Tyler?
Yeah, the poor bugger. He goes pretty well undefeated all season and gets matched up into his worst type matchup to start with. It's unfortunate for him, but we'll see. I said in the last video I love an underdog story, so maybe he'll pull it out. Interesting that he's only brought one of the Protean Mons when they've both been so big for him all season.
Yeah.
Morpeko wasn't one I was expecting. Neither is Sharpedo. You have to assume it's Mega.
Yeah, you'd probably think so. Okay, the leads where Bombi gets sent out and Morpeko. Cool.
Bombi's just such a good lead between Shield Dust, Sticky Web, Stun Spore, and just how bloody fast it is.
Oh, and that was a quick turn one. Moonblast crits. Don't think it would have mattered. Or a wheel. Okay. Morpeko is very interesting to bring to a finals game.
I don't
It's
think we've
faster
seen it
than
at
Beat
all this
Down.
season.
No. It'd be faster than Rabombi unless Rabombi's Scarf, which Scarf Moonblast is very good into Dark.
Mm.
Well, Mock and Bishop kind of do mess it up a bit.
I mean, considering he didn't lead with webs, it wouldn't be all that surprising if it's Scarf Moonblast.
Yeah, I could see that. Pretty much everyone wrote Dosker off before this battle, from what I remember.
Yeah, he he seemed to be capitulating a little bit at the back end of the season.
He has been, but I don't know. I feel like this matchup is too good. And when he lost big time, I know this. I mean, not everyone knows this, but I know he just didn't prep as much. But when he's actually logged in and prepped, I don't think he's lost. And if he has, it hasn't been like bad losses. And he was obviously going to lock in for finals. So yeah, with that knowledge, I don't see how you could write him off. But I guess no one else really knows that.
Yeah, true. And I mean, Fairy's just such a good type. So is Dark, but Fairy's, top 4 or 5 for sure.
Yeah, Dark got some nice additions this gen for sure. But Fairy's still Fairy. Although this,
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Dark so crazy in monotype is having access to 2 Protean Mons. It's very difficult to deal with.
2 great ones. Or a good switch by Dossa there, I think, into Clef Key.
Yeah, can't imagine Morpeko's got much that can hit Clef Key.
Weird that he didn't have another move, Parting Shot. Interesting. Weird that he didn't have a move to hit something when Aura Wheel was going to be a Dark type move. Like, surely you had a different electric move you could have clicked on that turn. Like Brick Break, trying to read the screens. That's a good play there, but Dossa opting to go for the spikes instead, as it doesn't seem to have any removal.
Yeah, I was just looking. I don't think, unless does Morpeko get rapid spin?
I believe so, but it's on 1% and will die when it gets switched in.
Yeah, so the spikes could do some real damage here. It's going to ruin
he
any
gets all
sashes.
three. Yeah, he gets all 3. This is going to be, when you already have a type advantage, these kinds of things are very useful. Iron Defense. Oh, Iron Defense.
Interesting. What's he thinking? A body press into Dark or something? Does Clefkey get body press?
I don't think so. But it could just be Iron Defense. I mean, he's shown Draining Kiss and Spikes. So he could
Might
just
just
be
be
trying
a
to...
stall.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Carmine Lost. Just unbreakable. Oh, Energy Ball. He didn't switch. And Draining Kiss gets some great chip and recovery.
Energy Ball's an interesting choice into Clefkey.
I think he would have been trying to read a Zoom rule, and then that time
That's what I was expecting.
knocked it out. I'm surprised Dossa didn't switch there, actually.
I mean, he obviously read it well, but
If he switched on the second turn there, that would have been pretty funny.
yeah, if he'd gone into like DNC or something.
Switching to Bishop and Webs get down. That's probably worst case scenario for Pyre, because if Bishop's Defiant, it gets a boost when it steps on the Webs. Instead, it gets Stun Spored, and Rock Polish just takes it back to neutral speed.
Damn. Well, we know now it's not Scarf B.
Yeah. And Moonblast gets some good chip, but there's the Defiant. That's so unlucky.
That
Iron
is
Head,
very
dang.
unlucky.
I feel like if you're Dark, you probably bring Sucker Punch on Bishop anyway, even though you're going into Fairy, because it just hits so hard if you're +2.
And just to have some priority is just so good to have.
Yeah. Well, even though it's 4-6 right now, I think the advantage is still with Dossa here. Nothing's taken chip. Morpeko dies when an X gets sent out, so it's just a sack.
Yeah,
3 laser
armor
spikes on
taking
Webs.
chip. Yeah, that the hazards are gonna be very problematic here for Huge.
If this is Mega Diancie, it could just sweep from this position, because you'd guess it has Earth Power for Mark, which will
Is
take chip.
Mega Diancie gonna be slower than base speed Bishop?
No, Mega Diancie is 350. Once it Mega Evolves, it gets a huge speed boost.
Floating rock, that makes no sense.
Yeah, no. Greninja, if it's Scarf, will still outspeed Diancie though. So that's probably the only threat.
Yeah, it's interesting what you do with Greninja, whether you run it Scarf or Specs.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be one of the 2 most weeks, maybe banned. It's just a good mon to throw a choice item on. And he goes Garm.
So you imagine this is guerrilla tactics and choice band.
Probably. I mean, he likes Sash, he
Or
likes
Scar.
Scarf. See, that's probably where you click Sucker Punch there if you have it. I mean, if he doesn't have it, fair enough into Fairy, but just chipping down, that probably would have done 70% to Garm, to be honest. At +2.
Mm.
Breaking
Yeah,
a
would have
potential
done.
Sash would have been big.
Yeah, man.
If this is Sash, it's in a great spot to clean up here.
Yeah, if it's Sash, it pretty much wins from here, I think.
Yep, Protect makes sense. Probably going to see a speed boost.
Yeah.
Now, it's... I don't know if it's faster. If this is base speed Dominaton or not Scarf.
Yeah, if it's not Scarf, I think Sharpedo's faster.
Does it get
Sharpedo's
slower
got
when it
pretty
Mega
fast speed,
Evolves?
I think.
I can't remember if it gets slower or faster when it Mega Evolves. He goes a double and it fails,
Oh,
and Superpower knocks it out. He must have known that it was necessary to go for the
yeah.
double there.
But we know it's not choice Garm then.
Oh, and
My
Superpower
God.
just knocks it out. So it wasn't
This
Scarf Greninja either.
might just be over from here.
It's a very tough spot to come back from at least. Earthquake just takes the chip. Sash, there you go. Yeah,
Oh, the
poison.
poison.
30% chance from Poison Jab and then 30% chance from Poison Touch. Oh, Mark's such a good mod. But yeah, this seems over if this is Mega Diancie.
Despite both of them being on 3 mons left, this is over. Morpeko just comes in
now.
fires.
Yeah.
Armoroge is pretty much dead already.
Yeah, he seems to know it as well. And just Moonblast here.
I
Bang.
mean, it's only 3-0, but honestly, quite dominant from Dosso. And like I said, I just feel terrible for Huge that he went pretty much undefeated all season and then got this matchup first round.
Yeah, I mean, lost 2 games all season, both to the same dude. Played some good players too. I mean, he beat Nick, he beat Andrew, who's won the most championships in SBL history. Neither of them have great types, but he did it pretty easily, I think, both times.
Everyone in his conference except Dosso. He beat Marvin and Dariki, and he beat Bossman, and he did pretty much had a perfect season except against Dosso.
I don't think anyone's had a better first season besides Andrew, who I think won in season 2 in his first season. But anyways, so that's Dosso advancing through to the conference finals now. I don't think he's ever been 1 win away from making a grand final, but here we are. So good for him, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
And with that, the Seviper semi-finals draws to a close, with Team Awesome taking the 4-0 victory over the Universe Unknown, and the Primeapes taking a 3-0 win over Victoria's Dark Secrets. This means for the grand final for the Seviper Conference, we have Team Awesome with Normal versus the Primeapes with Fairy. I hope you've all enjoyed, and we look forward to seeing you in the grand final matches of both conferences next time.